That's Babylon, where the evil god Marduk used to mate with women on top of the temple. He had some sort of ability to fly around and land on top of them. You see a lot of the buildings these days are being built with landing spaces on top of them. They look like landing spaces, circles. You see them all over the place if you look up the new builds. There's the pyramids in the desert. All pyramids, most pyramids are surrounded by deserts because they suck the life out of the planet and you and push it up to the evil god, who I believe is one and the same as the man who created the Sphinx, as the creature that created the Sphinx. You can see all the weather wearing on the Sphinx. You see there was rain when it was built. It used to rain, but it doesn't rain there anymore because of the pyramids. And everywhere you find pyramids and idolatry, you find deserts, especially if they've been there for a while. They suck the life force and feed this creature. He's like, there he is there. He could travel 1,000 leagues a day. He was a rapist, a cannibal, a paedophile. So 1,000 leagues is like 1,000 miles. He could travel across the continents, swim, run fast and all sorts of things like that. And look at the size of the lion in his hand. The lion also represents Christ. So he's the enemy of Christ and he's a slaver as well. So the likes of him devoured everything on the planet and he was only going to live for 500 years. You want to know about him, it's the Epic of Gilgamesh. That's one name for him. He has many names. And he was only going to live for 500 years. Well, I'm after finding it out. Scholars, Gilgamesh, Enki. He makes people strong wall cities. Yeah, he makes cities and all monuments to his ego. Because he didn't want to die and he wanted everyone to know what he was about. And he had another thing called Baba hanging around. Ustan Abistan was the first one to go up. So here we are. 1500 BC, and Enkidu was eventually killed by Gilgamesh. Enkidu was the other giant that feared for his own life. Ustan Abistan, they recounted the flood and how he became immortal. So he went up and he feeds off humankind. So our lifespan went from 1,000 years down to a few hundred years, down to 125 if we're blessed. The Gilgamesh flood took only 3 weeks, where the Genesis flood lasted over a year. I don't know if that's accurate. But anyway, there's a drought upon the waters of Babylon, that's what it says. So here we have the energy they steal from us keeps them up in the sky. So here we have a story of giants falling to the earth in Revelations in the last days. Nephilim, giants, washers, Anunnaki. There's loads of stories there of them coming to the earth and causing havoc and eating people and stuff like that. That's them. They must have found a technological way to prolong their life by doing something, messing around with the calendar. Marduk is his name. There he is. A ziggurat, a massive structure built in Mesopotamia and in the Iranian plateau. It's the same place where it's based on the story of the vampire god in Blade. He's based on him. Ziggurat was a temple complex. The shrine on the top of the ziggurat which says that it contains a great gold. The god Marduk was also said to come and sleep in the shrine, and he used to be there with the women. So Sumerian mythology and male and female aspects, yes, they're androgynous. So they're not even human, they're shapeshifters. And basically he's Ra, the god Ra, who builds these temples. He can take any form he wants, and he's the god of technology. Monsters, absolute monsters, creatures they are. That's what they are, they're despicable. They're still about. There he is depicted in the clouds though, as an old man feeding his children. Look, he's taking Adam's life force. Our God is not an old man in the clouds. That's definitely not our God. That's Zeus or one of those other things. Marduk basically is the same, one and the same. So we were meant to live in a pristine jungle. There he is there again, look. So when we live in a pristine jungle and pristine environment, when it rains you hide under a tree. You don't take out an umbrella, hold it by the handle and put it up above your head, because the God that lives in the clouds is the one that creates the rain, and when you put the umbrella up, you're putting your energy force up into the skies above your feet and all. When Jesus was taken around the world by Mammon, hold on, Ammon his name is, let me get it. There he is there in the tomb. But when you see him sitting in the tomb, any image he can travel from his tomb is an energy form, and he's able to do all this mad technology. See those things on his head? They're the same as what you see on top of telegraph pole or the new mobile phone, the microbial technology, which is the mast, the telephone mast. You see them on the top of his head there. You can see images of stuff like that in the tombs, the pharaoh's tombs. Hold on, I forget. They're being chased by what appears to be a bee. I don't know if that's significant of the land of milk and honey, but you can see like there's a helicopter. These are all carvings in the tombs. And if we go back here, hold on a second. There, look, loads of weird shit. Mystery alien black boxes, I don't know. Creepy coins, aliens lived among us. Don't know what that is. I don't know if they're hoaxes, but you can be sure that there is some sort of hybrid jokes that are being lived with us. How the fuck else did they build the pyramids? We can't build them today. If you had a couple of giants, you could build them. And that's what they do. They used to cut people's hearts out on top of them. Some of them were used for tombs, allegedly for tombs, but I think they're a form of technology for milking our life force to feed some sort of parasitic entities. There's a lot of parasites running around on two legs like humans, you know. The source of the Nile is in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia had a drought a few years ago, and then the Nile sucked all the water down past the door of the pyramids, where it goes right up to the pyramids where they used to use it. And there's a drought that affected 7.8 million people. So if you think that the pyramids don't affect you or your country and are not far reaching, you're sadly mistaken. That's what happens when you remove hydrology. The water that's feeding these entities that they've been nicking from us, the water of life that's breaking apart the soil and no longer goes to them. So God says in Jeremiah 50:38, the KJV, there is a drought upon the waters, and they shall be dried up. For the land of graven images, they are mad upon their idols. So that's Egypt and probably the Vatican. Obelisks are the other problem that you have. This tells the story of artificial intelligent promiscuous girls using their tits and their ass to get laid in fields, and the destruction of artificial intelligence. Ammon, and getting locked up once and then let back out and then locked back up. This is the story in Revelations, telling, instead of calling him Satan, he calls him Ammon. Ammon-Ra, the god of the Egyptians, for Lord will raise a cause of come against Babylon, assemble a great nation from the north country or in the north, and they shall assemble themselves again, array against one, and then shall be taken an arrow, so that mighty expert man none shall return in vain. That's the idolatry of the heathen, feeding on us like vampires.